very warm welcome. Round 7 of the F1 season as we go to Paul Ricard, Paul Richard. One of the worst F1 tracks on the calendar, if not the worst. Up there with Russia. Are we in for another snooze fest at the French Grand Prix? Lewis Hamilton really needs a win. Two bad races, and he has actually dominated this race. Now, before, in the off-season, we got the announcement there would be circuit changes at Paul Ricard. Will that promote overtake him? Can we get an exciting race at Paul Richard? Because for me, this circuit is a test track. It will always be a test track. It's not up to F1 standard to hold a Grand Prix. When this is on the calendar and you don't have a Germany race, it's quite alarming. Just want to get some up here just to check the DRS zones because they may, I believe it is 2. Yep, just checking because sometimes they add in a third one, which would be quite possible at Paul Ricard. So let's get into the preview. Grosjean will have his go in the Mercedes. He was promised by Toto Wolff that he would get a run in the Mercedes, and fair play to him for sticking to his word. Now this race is usually a snooze fest. It will be 53 laps with 2 DRS zones. We've got to hope the circuit changes have made a difference to Paul Ricard. Expect Lewis to win and bounce back. He's had 2 poor races at Monaco and Baku. And yeah, like I said before, he's dominated this race. I'd absolutely take a dual race and a Lewis win right now. Home race for Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon. Gasly's on fire. Bottas needs to show something. Coming into the weekend, we've heard big rumours about Valtteri Bottas losing his seat at the end of the season. And we've also heard big rumours that George Russell will be announced as a Mercedes driver for 2022 at Silverstone. So keep your eyes pinned for that. But we're actually hearing big rumours about it now, so that's positive for a Russell fan. Pirelli come into the weekend under pressure. Now they need a smooth weekend, Pirelli. No tyre failures, no blowouts, no problems with the tyres. They need a smooth weekend. And we have had a lot of testing around this track with the tyres. Norris is the only driver to score points in the first 6 races. That's an impressive statistic. Now, another thing about this track, I don't like the track. I think it looks absolutely ridiculous with all the paint around the outside. The pit in was very dangerous. They changed it and now it's okay. But the pit exit is ridiculous. Now, hopefully they've changed it for this year, but the old pit exit used to feed into the racing line. I'm actually surprised we've not seen an accident. Very dangerous. So yeah, hopefully we finally get a good race at Paul Ricard. Hopefully the circuit changes will improve the racing. And for me, this track, very lucky to be on the calendar. And we have a triple header now. We have the French Grand Prix, then we have the Styrian Grand Prix, and then Austria. Now the season ramps up, and who wants it more? Max, for his first world title in Formula 1, or is Lewis Hamilton going to make history and become an 8-time champion? Valtteri Bottas has to show something. He has to show something. How much does he want that Mercedes seat? How much is he going to fight for it this weekend? How much does he want to stay at the Brackley-based outfit? Now he's got to show it. Because big rumours that he could lose his seat. Daniel Ricciardo, I want to see something from him as well. Of course, I'm looking forward to the weekend, but kind of sceptical about the weekend because it's Paul Ricard. Now, like I always say, France deserves a Grand Prix, but it should not be at Paul Ricard. We used to go to Magny-Cours, great track. This track is awful. Even if you're French, you're probably saying this track's awful. Honestly, the best moment round this track that I really remember strongly was Anton Hubert winning round here, holding the French flag up, and the French fans so happy for him. That was my favourite moment round Paul Ricard. Yeah, quite emotional that moment, especially with what happened a few races later, but that was one of my favourite moments around this track. Yeah, I'm backing Lewis Hamilton to win this race. He needs to bounce back after 2 poor races. I mean, it's ramping up now. Now the season begins because we have a triple header, round 7, 8 and 9. Wow, unbelievable scenes. Poor Ricard. Wow. I'm staggered. Genuinely, I'm staggered. Of course, we do preview Wednesday, track guide, which will be very interesting on Thursday, Friday, practice 1 and 2, Saturday, practice 3 quali, Sunday, the race, driver ratings, and then we do like a Tuesday video, and then again, it'll be a preview for the Styrian Grand Prix. It's going to be action-packed, I can tell you that. So if you are an F1 fan, tickle that subscribe button, because videos are going to be absolutely popping. And during the Baku Grand Prix, the channel was unbelievably well supported. So we go into this French Grand Prix with 4 points between Max and Lewis. And Red Bull have actually got a big lead in the constructors. So, time for Mercedes to show what they're all about. I would say this is a must win for Valtteri Bottas, but how many times have we said that over the last couple of races? Yeah, I'm buzzing. Can't wait for the weekend. French preview done. Join me on Thursday for a track guide of Paul Ricard. Now the circuit changes, let's see if they make a difference. Hopefully, I mean, it can only be a positive. Already we know we're probably in for a snooze fest Grand Prix, as it has been the last couple of years. But these can only be positive changes because, let's be real, it can't really get much worse. So a couple of changes may increase some action. How many turns have we got around this track? 15. So we've got one DRS zone down the main straight, and then the big long straight. Then we've got the real long straight up into Signy. Signy? Depends how you pronounce it, but that's a really fast corner. Yeah, and let's just hope we have a Pirelli free zone. Comment down below, we'll always reply. Adios. Paul Richard, baby.